Hello and welcome to the EMBN Show, bringing you much awaited news of a new eMTB from Japanese giants Yamaha, along with a two-wheel drive adventure bike. Now, before we get into the hot news from Japan, some rather sad news actually. Finland motor brand Revonte, well known for that MGU, motor gearbox unit, which we saw actually in the Eurobike show, crikey, it must have been 3 or 4 years ago. Sadly, they've been, what's the word, Adam?
Filed for bankruptcy.
This is really sad news. I mean, a fantastic bunch of very clever people, and what I thought could be the first combined motor gearbox unit on the market.
They were ahead of the game for sure. They were definitely the pioneers of pushing that technology through into the e-bike world, I would have said.
I think so. So yeah, sad news in that respect, because I still think that we're maybe not quite there yet with e-mountain bike motor gearbox units. But that's for another day, I think.
Definitely a different topic. But you know, it's a shame because we did see one of their prototypes and it had such potential, but unfortunately didn't quite make it to the market by the end, you know?
Other news is e-bikes are not motorbikes. I mean, we've known that for a long time.
Yeah, so it seems obvious, doesn't it?
Although you could argue that some e-mounted bikes are motorbikes, the throttle assist ones, but pedal assist, and we'll come on to pedal assist in a moment, because don't forget, Yamaha actually invented pedal assist in 1993. That's 30 years ago.
Hey, it's when I was born.
Really?
Yeah.
See, okay.
Bang on, 93.
Two and two together there.
There you go.
But Adam, tell us about this story. I mean, someone was hurt on an e-bike out in Belgium. There was a dispute and went to court, and basically it was found that actually no, e-bikes are not motorbikes.
Yeah, I think it's really important because obviously there was the ongoing court case, which was, you know, the discrepancy of the vehicle and what it is defined as. So I think it went to the, you know, a European High Court, and they've now decided and they've defined what the vehicle and, you know, motorbike versus electric bike or bicycle is actually categorized as, and a pedal assisted bike is now officially considered a, you know, a road pedestrian style user friendly vehicle, not an insurable vehicle.
But remember folks, there's a difference between e-bikes and e-mountain bikes, and e-mountain bikes and the whole 25 kph, that's another story. But folks, the story you really want to come to the show to listen to is about the new Yamaha e-mountain bike. We'll talk about the adventure bike in a minute. Now, I think this is super exciting news. It seems to me that there's a few key points, Adam. I think the first one is the fact that they've got the drive unit located just above the bottom bracket with a pulley wheel which is actuated through the motor. Obviously, you've seen high pivot bikes on a lot of downhill bikes these days to get an uninterrupted suspension actuation on the back. I don't think it matters quite as much in e-mountain bike, but nevertheless, I think it's the placement of that motor which is quite different to anything else on the market. They're not shy, obviously, of showing the fact that there is a motor in the bike, and I think it looks very, very trick. There's a few other features on it. They've got the KYB fork and shock. Obviously, we've seen the likes of WP in the last few weeks on the gas bikes. We've seen Öhlins, massive in the MotoGP and motocross world. So to have another brand e-mountain bikes, I think is very cool.
I'd even just quickly going back, you're saying about the motor design. It is very unique, and I'd say that probably the only thing that we've seen that's maybe even slightly close is maybe something on the Rocky Mountain with that extra pulley wheel. Again, I don't know if there's anything else that's ever been quite the same design as that position it's in, and what effect it has on it would be really interesting to see.
I think there's other things which might have a bigger effect, such as the PAS, the power steering system on this bike. That is pretty big news.
And it's electronic.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen obviously Canyon have got the KIS system on their mountain bikes. So
keep it stable, is it?
Keep it stable.
There you go.
So yeah, I think folks, this is exciting news. And certainly if this becomes a production bike pretty soon, I think people will be all over it in the same way as, you know, like the gas bikes.
It's one of those things, interested to try it.
And then of course we have the two-wheel drive adventure bike. I think, do you know what? I think there's so much talk about that. I think we might actually save that for another day as well.
I think it's a big talking point, to be honest.
Some other bikes, folks. Now, we touched upon the propane eCano 2 CF. We saw that bike out in Rock d'Azur. Just to remind you, Adam, maybe you can remind people of the bike?
So Propane have now come out with, well, they didn't long come out with the Icano 2, which was using the Shimano EP801 system. Now they've released it with this new SRAM powertrain system. So 2 modes, but we've seen it on those launch passes. We've seen it with the gas, we've seen it with the nuke proof, we've seen it with the propane now, and we've seen it with the transition. It's interesting though, I think, you know, it's a 630 watt hour battery with a 250 watt hour range extender. It can be 29 or MX. I guess that's quite propane in the fashion that you can customize everything. But again, it's 180, 170. So I think, you know, we're seeing a lot of these bigger travel bikes with this new powertrain system. 64 degree head angle, 78 degree effective
Good
seat
numbers.
angle.
It's good numbers.
It is good numbers.
Yeah, I've seen. I mean, like I said, I've seen the bike in Rockers. I think exciting times for the powertrain systems.
Price-wise, though, you're saying good numbers. It's not.
I think
depends on what your definition is good, but you know.
I think this is the point. Obviously, that, you know, powertrain is all about auto shift and coast shift. I think the point of difference between the Shimano and the SRAM system is the fact that in order to replace your component parts such as your cassette and derailleur on the SRAM, you need to be running like, you know, the lowest end GX, which is going to cost you, you know, cassette and derailleur about £1,000, whereas if you ride in the auto shift or system on the Shimano, then the Link Glide cassette and derailleur, you know, you can get that for like 80 quid, you know, derailleur or cassette. So I think
QS system, isn't it? Yeah.
that is probably the biggest difference if you guys would ask between the SRAM and the Shimano system.
Yep.
But yeah, some very cool bikes, folks, to report on this week.
So you've just come back from cool places. You're out and about, Rock Desert, plenty of other places, but what we like to see is your cool places. Because it's not just about Steve or myself getting out, it's about where you guys go exploring on your e-mountain bikes. So first up, we have...
Dare Valley Country Park!
Hey!
I mean...
That's not far from you, is it?
No, I might jest. I think, you know, that part of the world, done some fantastic riding there over the years. And I think, Ricky, you know, you've got... It says Trek Rail 9 and a Voodoo Zoo Bop. I think the Voodoo Zoo Bop is the interesting one here.
Yeah.
You know, when you come to, you know, talking about affordable e-bikes, that's definitely a banger, isn't it?
For sure.
But yeah, what a beautiful, cool place. And so is this one, actually. Nick in Parklands, Essex, with his S-Works. Actually, that would make an absolutely amazing bike vault shot.
That is a beautiful shot. Well taken.
But the next one, George, Mondrian Crafty RR in the Dolomites in Italy. George, that is... I'd love to go and explore more in the Dolomites on an e-mountain bike.
Is he a professional photographer? That is absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Love it.
Tre Cime di Lavaredo, and then out in Cascade Trail, Threadbow, Australia, is David Merida E160.
Snow in Australia.
And then
there you go.
And then a Cube Stereo hybrid from Sai in the Shire's Head. I'm guessing that's up in the Peak District. So some fantastic inspirational shots there from you guys.
Make sure you guys keep on sending them down in the link in the description, because we'd love to see your cool places, and you know, it's not just us going away. It's you guys enjoying yourselves.
Time now for some comments from you guys. We had the weigh-in of the pros e-bikes at the Chattel e-Enduro World Cup race. Really interesting, I thought. You know, a lot of the main point of difference was actually in the battery capacity. We saw that Yannick Pontal's transition with the 620 watt hour was up there as the lightest. But then again, when you have bikes such as the Giant, which have got 800 watt hour batteries in the bike, I think, yeah, it's quite interesting. You know, what's the trade-off? You know, obviously you've got someone who's a lighter rider, can run a lower battery, but the heavier riders can ride heavier.
Well, I think the questions are all aimed at you. You were there, right?
I was there. I put them on the scales.
Let me crank them up and fire them your way. So, Digital Done Right has asked you, perhaps do the weigh-ins without batteries, then weigh them separately. What's your thoughts on that?
I think you could do. I mean, you could take the wheels out, you could take the tyres off if you wanted to. I mean, the battery is a component part of an e-mountain bike system. So you could, but I don't see the point.
Question was, were you filming them pre or post race?
Well, they're all super clean if you looked at them.
There you go, so it's pre-race, so in theory, they should have all been charged, right?
That's a separate question,
Oh,
right?
there you go. We'll have a look down.
That is a separate question. That's from actually. That's
there you go.
from
Island Aerial 3414.
Island Aerial. I can't guarantee you that they were all full, but it seemed to me that on the dials they were full tanks. I think there are a couple other questions here. Mark Peterson, this is very informative and entertaining, but how do these weights measure up to consumer level e-bikes? Great pictures, Mark. Very closely. I mean, bear in mind that those are all consumer e-mountain bikes. Interestingly, Mark, we did actually do a piece with Fabian Burrell, who is the now reigning e-Enduro World Cup champion, where we actually compared his pro Canyon Strive towards a production Canyon Strive, and I think it gives you a bit of an insight. But in terms of the weights, I mean, we're looking pretty close, really. And then from Dad Sanson 20, the weight doesn't really matter when it comes to e-bikes. That's the whole point of them. Do you know what? Absolutely true. I think we can become obsessed with weights and measures. I think, you know, the obsession to make the lightest e-mountain bike at the moment, it comes at the price of suitability of the task in hand. I mean, people are putting like low, you know, kind of cross-country style parts onto what are meant to be, you know, enduro style bikes. So
it's easy to drop a weight if you're putting,
I think so,
parts that, you know,
yeah, so
look good on paper.
I think 100% agree with you, and I actually think sometimes, especially in the winter, a little bit more weight is a good thing. And when you see some of those pros, you know, by the time they've put on some tubes and some tools and stuff like that, the weights are around about 24 kilos. So I think the rider weight is possibly more of an important factor. And then, yeah,
that's
I
an
think,
interesting question in itself.
And then the last one is, what shock stroke length is Tracy Mosley running? Thomas Spitz, I will let you know in next week's show.
I assume it's stuck on the rail, right? But we'll only know.
I don't know. I've already told him we'll find out next week's show.
So, I've been pondering, scratching my chin, doing a little bit of thinking, and I thought for this week's question for you wonderful people is, what has been your favourite video on the channel recently, and what would you like to see more of? Did you enjoy, you know, Steve doing the weigh-ins with the pros, or, I don't know, one of the trailside repair videos, or what is it the type of video that you guys love to see? Do you like us making fools of ourselves, or going out and seeing the pros? Leave your comments down below and we'd love to see what you guys say.
Who's making a fool of themselves?
Me.
I think it was me trying to weigh those bikes and hanging the bikes up to the seat dropper.
Oh, folks, you got called out on that, didn't you?
Yeah, and it's cool because I'm pretty clueless when it comes to that stuff. But folks, let us know your thoughts.
So, once again, and finally got Steve back, we are going to crack the doors of the bike vault wide open and see what you guys have sent our way. I don't know, you're quite fair at judging the bike vault. The other GMBM presenters have been quite harsh, so we'll see what you make of it this time.
What is the bike vault all about? It's about really cool locations.
And bikes.
Actually, no, that's wrong. The bike vault is about great shots of great bikes. And
you heard it here.
I think it's a great opportunity to absolutely kick the living daylights out of bikes that look.
All right, so someone's ready and fired up, ready to go. Well, let's kick things off.
Which there are very few of in the bike vault.
Hey, wait, you're backpedaling now. Cool, first up we have TJ. The TJ, there you go, from Helgeland in Norway. And his bike is a Specialized Levo in a beautiful minty colour. What are we saying, Steve?
Super nice, easily.
Super nice,
Dead Horse
easily.
Gap in Threadbow, Australia. David Merida E160. Kind of gets lost in the trees. It's a nice shot. John in Obey Rise in Elsinore. Oh, Elsinore, Denmark.
It's a shame the shot doesn't quite give justice to the bike. I'm going to say nice.
And what about this giant from Robert in Bargoed Mountain? Come on, Robert! Robert, that's going to be super nice for sure. Maybe a little over-processed. Leo, what do you think? Over-processed?
I think that's just the floor on the bike. Floor on a bike is always going to stand out.
Little bit. Okay, it's a super nice.
I've got to say the best for last.
Absolutely. This
Nick.
Fedu's Nick. Fedu's.
Yeah.
Ultimate respect to this. You can see the kind of the gloss on this bike. It's like my cat. It's Nick's Levo S Works in Howard Hill, Parklands, Essex.
The shot is out of focus with the reflection of the water in the background. That's got to be...
Oh, it is out of focus. What glasses are these? The shot
Not the
is
bike. No,
the bike
just the background.
The bike is out of focus.
No, comparatively. Oh, I'm still going to go super nice, Nick. But this man here, what's your judgment?
Right. No, I think it's super nice. You question. It's not. Why does that look weird there? Look, it's not out of focus. I think
it's just the depth of field, or it might have had some work done to it. Maybe some post.
Nick, fear not. It is 100% super nice. Folks, thanks so much for showing us your bikes. So many cool bikes. Good job. There's not any right.
Well, you've got to be proud of your bike to send it into the bike vault. Well, if you're proud of your bike, which you should be, especially your e-bike, send it down into the link below. Question
I get asked most of all is, what's my favourite e-mountain bike? Honest answer, I love riding all e-mountain bikes. Just to put that on the
That is the most fanny answer ever, Steve. Come on, choose a bike.
It's not, it's a true answer.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Stand corrected, there you go.
Well, these guys want to know. I'm giving them an honest answer.
There you go.
I generally love riding all e-bikes.
That's good to hear.
There's no, simple as that. Like I said, folks, thanks, and keep sending your pictures in. Okay, getting social, Adam. You've been on it this week. I see that you picked up on Alex Foyle and his gas. A little bit of an edit on the ECC6.
But
first of all, Jessie the maker, why she's apprehensive about jumping on her e-mountain bike?
I just thought it'd be a funny one. It's one of these influencers from Instagram, but she goes on an e-bike, she's worried about it because of the weight, and she's just going to take off to the moon. So yeah, I don't know why you'd be scared of jumping on an e-bike. I think it's easier to jump on an e-mountain bike than it is on a regular analog mountain bike, whatever you want to call it.
You won't catch me with my wheels off the ground. Anyway, that's a different story. And then finally, Rob Williams flying through the Mind the Fap trail on his high bike.
Right, just flying. It's one of those social videos that just makes you want to get out and ride your e-bike.
Absolutely.
We love it. We love it.
Okay.
So, Steve, what's coming up next week, or what's coming week on the show?
Well, what's coming up on the channel this weekend, actually, is the King of Modena built a trail across the Tuscan mountains for his girlfriend. It just so happens to be the perfect e-mountain bike trail coming out on the channel on Sunday. Great to see you again, folks. See you next week. Cheers.